I have to admit, when we were both asked the question, I assumed he would say what everybody has always said, which is, hey, of course, because to say you won't respect the results of the election, that is a direct threat to our democracy. The peaceful transfer of power is one of the things that makes America, America. It is not a joke. And look, some people are sore losers, and we just got to keep going.
Okay, day one, here we go.
People upset about Donald Trump's victory are taking to the streets Wednesday night, protesting his presidential win. You can see what looks like hundreds of people outside Trump Tower in Chicago. Meantime, in Washington, D.C., crowds are gathering again outside a Trump hotel. And a few protesters got somewhat violent with staff as they tried to push back a barricade. There you see that. Here's a look at Philadelphia, where protesters gathered at Thomas Paine Plaza earlier this evening and began marching down Broad Street. Here's the scene in New York City.
President, not my president, not my president. To say you won't respect the results of the election, that is a direct threat to our democracy.
In cities across the country, thousands took to the streets to voice their outrage over the election of Donald Trump.
The people united. We saw crowds actually being disruptive. And
on the West Coast, protesters set fires and faced off with police. In Los Angeles, hundreds ran onto Interstate 101, temporarily shutting it down.
That's total gridlock on the 101.
More than a dozen people were arrested there.
This president-elect represents hate, does not represent American values.
Like a rolling wave, protesters voiced their anger all across the country. Fires raged in Oakland, where 7,000 gathered, while an effigy of the president-elect burned in L.A. In Chicago, protesters shut down Lakeshore Drive, and activists lit up a better than bigotry message outside of the White House. It seems like everywhere there's a Trump building, there's an anti-Trump protest. Here in New York, that mood was echoed in Union Square.
Huge disappointment in our nation and the results of the election.
Look, some people are sore losers, and we just got to keep going.
Overnight, violence erupted on the streets of Portland. During the second straight day of protests I got hit over the election of Donald Trump. Police in riot gear launched flashbangs and fired rubber bullets to try to break up the crowd of roughly 1,500 people. Officers declaring the demonstration a riot after several people began vandalizing cars and businesses in the city's Pearl District. Some protesters launched fireworks and other projectiles at police.
I threw a trash can at them because I'm angry.
Will you go home?
No, I will not go home.
At one point, a man brandishing a gun demanded the protesters move away.
I live here. Don't throw me. I didn't vote for Trump. Why are you coming at me?
There were reports of attacks on drivers. What started out as a peaceful protest descended into chaos.
We are here for love. We are not here to spread hate.
Portland police say a rally turned into a riot when demonstrators started vandalizing vehicles and buildings, throwing things at police, and blocking this bridge.
Take over the intersection!
And a major freeway in Los Angeles was shut down by crowds of people angry about the election results.
If I had one message for Trump, it would be that we are the people and we want our voices to be heard and we will not stand down.
To say you won't respect the results of the election, that is a direct threat to our democracy.
In Atlanta, an American flag was burned near the Georgia State Capitol building Police reported no arrests.
My body, my choice.
And in Miami, protesters walked along Interstate 95, forcing 4 lanes of traffic to come to a standstill. And angry crowds gathered once again outside the 58-story Trump Tower, the president-elect's home in New York. There have been nightly protests since Trump's election, and more demonstrations are expected through the weekend.
Donald Trump, go away!
Look, some people are sore losers, and we just got to keep going.
We have something to say. We want to show that Donald Trump should not have been elected. White nationalism should not have been put in place. White supremacy will not define America.
This is unity. We've been screaming unity since we got here, but we have to respond to the rhetoric in some way, and we cannot have a country where hate-filled rhetoric is socially acceptable. It's ridiculous.
He's a racist, homophobic, xenophobic nightmare, misogynist nightmare, and he doesn't represent the values that I know to be American values.
If he actually cared about us, he would be bringing us all together.
Not my president! What will it take for you to go home? I mean, the election's over. There's not much that can be done at this point. I mean, what are you asking for? What will it take for you to accept the election?
There is so much to be done. This is not over. We can impeach this rapist. We can impeach this homophobe, this violent white supremacist. We can impeach him. There's so much work to do in our communities, at the community level, at the local level. We have to change our lifestyles. We have to decolonize this country because it's not white people's country. It's our country. It's our land. We have worked this land for hundreds, thousands of years. This is our home. We're going to stay here.
To say you won't respect the results of the election, that is a direct threat to our democracy.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are in the streets tonight, pretty spontaneously and organically protesting the election of Donald Trump. So few people expected the election of Donald Trump. I can't say there's any evidence that large-scale protests were planned in advance. But now that he's been elected, this is what has organically sprung up all over the country.
I didn't go to class on Wednesday. I was still in denial and in shock. I had a meltdown.
These students say they know nothing will change the results of this election, but think as long as everything stays calm, their rally will accomplish something by allowing their voices to be heard.
Look, some people are sore losers, and we just got to keep going.